It's turning it on to go live. All right, folks, we're getting ready here. We're going to start right at 10. But I do see that there are some folks that are starting to join in. So you can type in your question into the chat and we'll be able to review some of the questions before we get started. So if you haven't already, there is a short video on the link in the description of the Go Live feed. It's got the link to print out the score sheet for Scouting Realms and has a quick video to cover the basics. I will cover the basics also briefly as we play each realm, but if you want a little more time to study the rules, you certainly can do that. And don't worry if you come in late or lose your place, you can always restart the video and play along. You just need to be able to know what the dice rolls were in order to score your score sheet. Restart the video and play along. You just need to be able to know. Seeing some old friends join the feed. That's great. So again, everybody will need to print a score sheet to be able to play along and have a pen or pencil handy. So if you've got some questions, you can go ahead and ask them in the chat pod. I'll try to respond to them verbally before we get started. After that, I've got some folks helping out to respond to questions as we play by typing the responses. So all you need to play is to go to the link that's at the top of the video and print the score sheet. So the score sheet is the piece of paper that you see laying on my desk that says Scouting Realms. You need to be able to print that off, or if you have the ability to put it on your computer screen and to mark it up using something like Paint or Draw or something like that, it's possible. There's a 20-second delay in whatever I say and do on the video before it shows up in your feed. So sometimes the things may seem out of sequence between, or if you see a delay in getting a response, that's part of the reason. So for the early folks on the call, just a reminder, we're going to get started in about 7-8 minutes here. If you haven't already printed the score sheet, this is a great time to go ahead and print the score sheet. You will need to print that ahead of time and have it handy so that we can play along. Everybody playing will be using the dice that I roll. So we'll all play off of a single dice roll. If you'd like, if you're a little anxious about understanding the rules, you can follow along and copy what I do as we play the first round, and then later this afternoon, if you can come back and kind of branch out on your own and the 3 o'clock session to try out a different strategy. The cool thing is that everybody can play the dice however they like on the section of the score sheet. So it allows us to play with as many folks at a time that tune in and follow the feed. We have somebody from Fort Mill, South Carolina. That's great. So the question is, do we print out all the pages? There should only be one page for the score sheet. It should be a single PDF that says Scouting Realms, and it should print out just this single page here. You do need a full score sheet for the full game. So if you do plan to play later today at 3 as well, you will need to print a second copy or use a pencil where you can erase everything. So the score sheet should be a single page. And the link to that score sheet is in the description of the video, up there where it says troop2319.com Scouting Realms. You can click that and find the score sheet. All right, folks, we're going to get started here in just another couple of minutes. I've got some great folks online helping me answer questions in the chat pod. We're super excited to share this game with you today called Scouting Realms. For those of you who are just joining, there is a link in the top of the description to be able to print out the score sheet. That's all you need to play is that score sheet and this video. So don't worry if you come into the game later or if you get lost, you can always rewind and start over from the beginning and play over, because we're just going to be using the dice that I roll here. Everybody who's playing along at the same time will all be using the same dice roll at the same time. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and start with covering the basics of the game. The first thing I want to do is make sure that I say thank you very much to Stonemaier Games. Stonemaier Games is actually the inventor of this game. They have a version called Rolling Realms. They made this so that people could play remotely and be able to play over things like Zoom and Facebook Live. And I reached out to them and they were very gracious and allowed us to modify the score sheet so that we could play these games with our scouts. So thank you very much to Stonemaier Games. Now with that, I've rebranded this as Scouting Realms. And on the score sheet, as you see, there are 9 areas. Each one of these areas is a realm. And we're going to play 3 rounds, as it shows here down on the bottom here, 3 different rounds. Each round will have 9 turns. A turn is rolling the dice and then recording the scoring action. But we're only going to be playing with 3 realms at the time. So for the first round, we are just playing in Woodruff. For the second round, we will play the Burt Adams realms. And on the third round, we will play the Altoona Aquatics base realms. And I'll give you a brief overview at the beginning of each round of how to score each area. Now to start off, there's some basics. The object of the game is to get as many stars as you can. Along the way to earning stars, you will earn resources such as pumpkins, coins, or hearts. Each one of these resources that you earn, you mark it down here on the bottom of your score sheet by circling that resource. If we get to the point where you can spend a resource to get another dice or to reuse a dice, then you will draw a line through it showing that you have spent that resource. It's important to record the resources that you earn because each resource that you earn but don't use is worth 0.1 star. So as you're scoring up, you'll see people hopefully in the chat post comments about their score, and it'll be something like they scored 10.1 or 10.2 per round. At the end of all 3 rounds, we will add up the score and put the total here. Now, absolutely the way to score the highest is to take a careful look at the modifiers, where you can pay resources to adjust the value of a die, potentially reuse it in a realm, because the basic rules are if you use one die in a realm, you can't use another die in there during the same turn. You have to play in one of the other realms. But some of these modifiers allow you to do it. I know it's a lot to get started with. So for the most part, I will barely use the modifiers just in my explanation, but you guys out there play however you want to. And then, like I said, play along with me the first time, and then later in the 3 o'clock round, maybe you'll have watched the video a couple times, understand the mechanics of the game a little better, and be able to use some more of the advanced features. So let's take a look at the three realms in the Woodruff area that we're going to start with. So Davis Inn says you use a single die to fill a shape. So it's a little bit like Tetris. You can see each dice value has a different shape. And your objective is to try and fill an entire big row, which is 2 squares wide all the way across, or 2 squares wide all the way down, a big row or a big column. When you've completed a big row or column, that's when you get to complete a star. If you fill in a little square, you get the resource underneath it. So this first square that has one thing pre-shaded for you, there's a coin. So if you fill that up during the course of 1 or 2 rolls, you get a coin. Now, just like it says, you can rotate the shape to make it fit, and there's no limit to the number of uses for each die. So if you keep rolling ones, or if I keep rolling ones, you can use the one over and over again once per turn. All right, Carlock Pavilion is a little bit like Sudoku or Old Minesweeper, where you put a number in. The objective again is to fill rows and columns to earn the resources. But when you place numbers, if I were to put a 1 or any number here, I can't put that same number above, below, or to the left or the right of it. I can only put same numbers on the diagonal. Now, how you get stars in Carlock is the stars here equal the lowest number of the other 2 realms. So whatever you earn in Mountaineering and Davis Inn, whichever one is the lowest. So if you get 4 in Mountaineering and 2 in Davis, then the max you can score in Carlock is 2, assuming that you've put at least 2 numbers in here. You can't earn any more than the number of squares filled, so you can't ignore Carlock entirely. All right, now we're going to look at Mountaineering. So Mountaineering allows you to use 1 dice on either side, or if you roll a pair, you can mark off 1 in each area. And the way this works is, say the first time I roll a 3, I would mark off a 3, and then I add up the total value of all the things marked off in the coin area. And that the first time would be 3. I look over here, the total value is between 1 and 3. So I would earn a coin. On this side, you would earn a pumpkin. If the value equals 4 through 8, you'll earn a star. So in the next roll, if I'd already rolled a 3 and then I roll a 1, then the total value is 4 and I get to mark a star. So that's the basics of how those 3 realms work. We're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to move my dice roller over here and adjust this so that everything's visible on the camera. And the first roll is a 4 and a 3. Now, to make sure you don't lose your place, the first thing you should do is go down here in round 1 and write 4 and 3 to write down what the dice roll was. Now we can look at where we want to place those things. So I'm going to start out with, I'm going to use a 3 over here in Davis Inn, and I'm going to use a highlighter so it's easier for you to see. And I'm going to put that 3 right there, fits in nicely, and it allows me to earn a coin. So now I'm going to mark off that I've earned a coin in the round 1 area. I still have the number 4 dice to work with. I'm going to hold off on putting it on Mountaineering because that puts me right into the stars immediately, but I'm hoping to be able to get like a 1 or 2 and to be able to get in there more often. So I'm going to go ahead and take a risk, and I'm going to put the 4 right there in the dead center of Carlock. And now I can't put a 4 above, below, or left and right. Now, again, you can play the dice in any of these 3 realms however you see fit. This is just how I'm playing, but you playing along with me today, you pick your own strategy. I'm just explaining how I'm going through it and how I'm scoring mine. All right, so that was roll 1. Now I'm going to get the dice and we're going to roll the second time. All right, a 2 and a 4. I'm going to write down the score. 2 and a 4. Sorry, write down what the dice roll was. Let's see. I'm going to take this 2 over here in Davis Inn and fill up those 2 there. I'm trying to work my way across and fill up this row here to get a star. The 4, I said I'm not going to use it, but I'm already getting worried about not getting stars. So I'm going to mark off the 4 over here on the coin side of Mountaineering. And that lets me, now the value of things I've marked off is 4. So that lets me get a star. Now I've pinned myself in. I'm only going to be able to get maybe 1 more star from this coin side, and then I got to try on the pumpkins. All right, so that's 2 turns. Pretty straightforward and easy, right? So now we'll roll again. All right, a 1 and a 3. Let's see, so you can 1 and a 3. I'm going to write down the score. 1, 3, and all right. So the 3 would give me another grid, which would be pretty nice. I'm definitely going to put the 1 over here in Mountaineering, because now this total is 5. 4 plus 1, 5. I get to mark a second star. In the 3, I am going to use the other 3 over here in Davis Inn and rotate it over. Now that filled up a little square, and there was a pumpkin underneath that. So I'm going to go down here to the bottom and circle a pumpkin. All right. I think we're making good progress here. And so now, see, I'm just a couple of little squares here on Davis Inn from filling up and getting a star there. So, all right, a 1 and a 3. All right, so the 1, I could put a 1 there. That doesn't help me tremendously, but the way I'm rolling, it might. Actually, I'm going to put the 1 here, over here on the pumpkin side of Mountaineering. Mark off another pumpkin, because I earned, that total is 1. I'm going to put the 3 here in Carlock on the bottom. So I'm 1 number away from earning 2 coins. Now I'm actually going to spend a coin now. So down here on the bottom, this is probably the most versatile modifier you can use, where it says pay X coin to earn a dice value of X. What I can do is I can spend this 1 coin that I have and get, like, there's a 3rd dice in there that has a number 1 on it. If I had 2 coins, I could spend both of them at the same time and get a dice that had a value of 2 on it. So I'm going to mark off that I'm spending the coin. So it is used. Now I'm going to spin this 1 up in Davis Inn because it's the only realm I haven't already played in. And I'm going to fill in that 1 square right there. So I am 1 more. Next time I get a 1, or next time I earn another coin, I can spend it and now fill out that row in Davis Inn. All right. So here we go. A 1 and a 4. So I can't play the 1 in Mountaineering at all because both of the 1s are done. I could play a 4 over here where the pumpkin is. That would put me only at a 5. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to play my 4 here. That's total of 5. Lets me get a star. And I'm going to spin the other 1 that I rolled over here in Davis Inn. And that fills up an entire big row, 2 grids high, all the way across. So that lets me get 1 star. And that 1 star is actually worth 2, because now that I've earned at least a star in each realm, I'll know I'll get at least 1 star in Carlock. So that was a pretty good roll for me there. I didn't write down let me make sure I write down the 1 and the 4. So right here, I've written the 1 and the 4, so you can see that you can go back and replay your steps. First, we rolled a 4-3, a 2-4, a 1-3, and a 1-4. That's why it's important to write them down. Also helps you know when you've reached the end of the round. All right. Let me roll for the 5th time this one. A 6 and a 4. Let's see if you can move those so you can see them. 6 and a 4. That would be, putting them in Mountaineering would hurt too much. It would push me right out of the star value, and I don't want to do that. And I've already spent the 4 on Mountaineering, so I can't play there. I could put the 6 here in Carlock. Yeah, I can put the 6 here in Carlock. It finishes a row, and this row, the bonus is 2 coins. So I'm going to go down to the bottom of my sheet here and circle off 2 more coins. I can see that I've earned a total of 3, but I've already spent 1, so I only have 2 left. And now I still need to play the 4. And I'm going to play the 4 over here in Davis Inn. I'm going to take this 4, but I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to put 3 across here and let the 1 go down. That fits in. That fills up another square, and I think that was a heart underneath there. Yeah, that was a heart. So now I can circle off that I've earned a heart. Make sure as you're adding your resources, especially in later rounds, that you add them in the correct round, because they don't carry over from round to round. They only exist during that round. And I need to write what the dice roll was. All right. So now I'm going to do the 6th roll of the 6th turn of the first round. 6 and a 1. That 6 keeps popping up. Let's see. And it's such a big shape here. Let's see if I can fit it in somewhere down here. I could fit it in here. It's taking a big risk. It'd give me a heart, but I'm going to try that. I'm going to put the 6 in here, fills up those like that. It did fill up a heart. Oops. And now I need to play the 1, and the only place I can play the 1 is over here. So I'm going to play the 1 right there. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to spend these other 2 coins. I'm going to spend both of them at the same time, because I want to spend 2 to get a bonus dice that's worth a value of 2. And since I haven't played in Mountaineering yet, I'm going to put it over here on the coin side. So now the total here is a total of 7, which puts me still in the star realm. So I get to record another star. So see, those coins and those resources you earn, if you spend them wisely, can turn in to help you fill in the gaps when you're not getting the dice rolls that you need. So I was able to buy that dice of 2 there. And since I haven't already played in Mountaineering, I was allowed to play in there. And I played the other 2 dice in these 2 realms to start with. All right, so I didn't write down the dice roll, 6 and a 1. All right, 3 more rolls in this turn. If you're holding on to those resources, trying to save them up, you only have 3 more turns to use them in this round. 4 and a 2. 4 and a 2. So I've marked it down. I am absolutely going to use that 2 over here in Mountaineering. It's the identical score, gives me a 7. And I get to mark off another star over here in Mountaineering. Okay, for the 4. 4 is another one of those funky shaped pieces. Can I fit it in and have it fill up anything for me? Not really. But I'm going to spin the 4 over here. It's going to give me a pumpkin and a coin. I'm doing that on purpose so I can try and get another coin to buy a bonus dice here. So I'm going to go down here and pumpkin and a coin. All right, 2 more rolls in this round. All right, 5 and a 3. 5 and a 3. Let's take a look here. So I'm already at 7. The 3 would push me to 10. So I could do this, but it would just give me a heart. I don't really have any more plays over here that I can earn a star in Mountaineering. Let's see. The 5 is that long. I can't fit a 5 into Davis anymore. The 3 is the funny angled one. I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend the 3 And I'm going to spin the 3 right here. And yes, there's a blank there, but I know that I have that coin set up that on the final turn I can buy it and fill that other square. So I'm going to get that. So that was my 3. And the 5 I'm going to place over here in Carlock. There's no point in playing it over here. I'd just earn a heart. All right. All right, here we go. The last roll of the first round is a 2 and a 3. I'm going to write down the dice roll. All right, so I can spend the 3 over here, you know, that still puts me at 10. That means a heart. I can put the 2 here. It gets me a heart and a coin. And now I'm going to spend one of my coins that I have left. I've got 2 left that I haven't spent. I'm going to spend one of them to buy a 1. Fill in the Davis Inn. So I have completed 2 big rows and columns, which is this entire double section there is a big row. So I get to fill in a second star. All right, so now we add up and we score the first round. So I've got 5 over here in Mountaineering, 2 in Davis Inn. I have at least 2 numbers that I filled in Carlock, so I can take a score of 2, which is equal to the lowest total of the other 2 realms that I played. So that's 9 stars on the board. And then I add up the resources I haven't used. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 9.7. Not terrible. I've had better rounds. I've had worse. Go ahead and post your round scores in the chat. Love to see how people are doing. You know, and then it's just the first round score. There's still time to make up and score other points higher in the later rounds. So I'm going to take a sip of water here and let you guys add your scores, and then we'll get started on round 2. All right. So hopefully we'll see those scores coming in the chat momentarily, but I'm going to start. Man, Zane Naird posted a 19.4. That's fantastic. He's playing to win. All right. So now I'll pay attention to the other screen now. Sorry, I got distracted. Now we're going to look at the Bert Adams realms of the game. So the 3 realms that we'll be using our dice in today are the Love Dining Hall, Camp Jamerson, and Fort Brumley. So let's start with explaining how the Love Dining Hall works. So this is one of the realms where you can use 1 dice from the roll or both at the same time. So I'm just going to twist this so that it would work for the explanation. There's a 3. If that was my roll, a 5 and a 3, I could mark off both of these at the same time in the same turn, and I would earn the heart and the star. If I only had the 3, let's see, if I only had the 3 there, then I could only mark off the heart the first time, and then on another roll, if I had a 5 that I couldn't use anywhere else, I could put it there and then earn the star. So you have to build the top row first, not entirely, but you have to do the top dice first, and then on a later roll, you can come and get the star bonus if you have the 5. If you, like I said, if you do roll both the matching dice at the same time, then you can earn it, and you mark it off as you go, and you can't reuse it. In Camp Jamerson, the objective is to get 3 dice, to use 3 dice that would add up to the entire 3 dice that would add up to the entire total here for each bird. So for example, if I use, you know, a 3 and then a 2 and then another 3, then I would, sorry, I get to 3, 3, and a 1. Math isn't my strong suit at this hour in the morning, apparently. So if you get 3 dice roll here on 3 turns that equal a 7, then you earn 2 stars. You have to go from left to right within each bird, but you don't have to start with the 7. You could start from the very beginning trying to fill up the 16. So this would let you, start here, but you just have to start here, and you can start all 3 on different turns. Just have to try and complete it. Now there's a chance to earn 2 star every time you complete a bird, so pretty good return there. Now we got Fort Brumley. So Fort Brumley, if you look here, there's 2 towers, 2 castles, they call them. And the square with the door is a pre-filled square. You don't have to fill that up. It's just like a bonus. And you earn stars by completing a row. Each castle has 3 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And each time you fill out a complete row, you earn a star. So this one here is easy to earn. The catch is that you have to build squares from the bottom up, and you can't have larger numbers on top of smaller numbers. So if you put a 3 here in this bottom square, the only numbers you can use to go up is a 2 and a 1. So now if you get like a 1, this is a great spot to drop a 1 because there's nothing above it. You earn the pumpkin right away, and then you're 1 more dice away from filling up the row. Now this realm allows you to use both dice, 1 in each castle per turn. So keep that in mind. If you're struggling to try and put a dice roll in, this one does allow you to put 2. This one also allows you to put 2 in the same column. This one is just 1 dice at a time. Okay, so I'm going to try and talk a little slower. Understand that I might be going a little too fast for folks. So I'm going to try and slow it down. All right, so I'm going to roll. This is the first roll of round 2. So make sure as you're scoring your resources and writing it down that we're just writing stuff down in round 2 for now. Here we go. All right, 5 and a 3. So I'm going to write down my 5 and my 3. All right, I'm going to instantly take the 5 and 3 from the example. How fortuitous. I'm going to earn a heart and a star right out of the gate. So I mark my star, and then down here, I will mark the heart in the round 2 area. It's a little easier now that the realm and the scorecard in the same place. I won't have to move it back and forth. Okay. So that worked out really well. I was able to use both dice there. Now, you can make a lot of stars in Fort Brumley, so don't ignore that one. I need to make sure I'm not leaving that one behind. All right, here we go. 3 and a 2. So I could mark off a 2 over here. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark off a 3, the 2 in the Love Dining Hall. I'm going to mark that I earned the coin. And then I'm going to put the 3 over here in Brumley. And yes, that is a 3. My penmanship is just not great. And I'm going to take the pumpkin over here. Again, putting a low number in the bottom is not bad in this first row because I don't have to put anything above it. Now, 1 more dice roll over here, and I get a star. If I get a couple of good ones, like a 5 and a 6, I can get 2 stars on the same roll here. That's what I'm hoping for. Hoping that I start to roll a little better. All right, so now let's do turn number 2. 6 and a 3. So I'm going to write what the roll was down here so I don't lose my place. You know what? I can't pass up this star. Luck. I'm going to take that 3 and the 6 over here in the Love Dining Hall. I get a pumpkin and a star. I can't tell you how rare it is for me to actually roll both of these at the same time. Usually I do very poorly over here in the dining hall, and that earned a pumpkin, so I need to write the pumpkin down as well. All right. So I got that. All right, now I think we are ready for turn 3. Ooh, double 3s. All right, the double doesn't provide any special bonus here in this one. So I'm going to go ahead. Well, I'm going to take a risk here. I'm going to put a 3 there. And I'm going to put a 3 over here on the 7. So I get, that is a star for 1 row completed in Brumley. And this 3 here earns a pumpkin. Well on our way. I did not write down the dice roll. 3 and a 3. Yeah, writing down the dice roll helps you keep your place to know how many turns you have left, because it's important, especially to get to those final 3 turns, to start spending those resources on these modifiers if you haven't already. Okay. So here we go. Roll number 4. 5 and a 2. All right, this is working out pretty good. I am going to use both of these dice over here in Brumley. I'm going to put the 5 down at the bottom on the left, and I'm going to put the 2 above the 3. So I filled out another row on the star. And this, I completed a column, so that earns me a heart. All right. So not terrible. Let's see, 2 and a 5. 2 and a 5. Make sure I mark that score down. So mark the dice roll down. All right, here we go. Roll number 5. Looks like a 2 and a 3. So I'm going to write down the dice roll to start. 2 and a 3. I'm going to put the 2 over here. Hope for another 2 down the line. And I'm going to go ahead. I am going to take a risk. I'm going to put the 3 there. That fills another row. Earns a 3rd star for myself in Fort Brumley. I've got to get a 2 or a 1 to place it there. And I need a 2 over here to get to that 7. So ideally, I'd roll like a double 2s. That would be a fantastic next roll. So let's all wish for double 2s. So close. 6 and a 1. This is how I typically roll. It's just all right. 6 and a 1. I can't play the 6 here because I haven't done the top first. That won't help me. The 1 won't help me there. So I'm going to play them both over here. I'm going to put the 1 at the top of Fort Brumley on the left, which earns a pumpkin and a star. And then I'm going to take this 6 and drop it here in that spot in Fort Brumley. Puts me closer. It's a great number to build on. 5 other options on the dice that I can build on top of that. So really good probability to roll that one. Let's see. I think that's all I can do. I got 3 turns left. I'm got nothing going on in Camp Jamerson. I got to hope for better rolls. All right, here we go. Roll number 7 in round 2. 2 and a 3. All right, I will take the 2 in Camp Jameson. I've got enough, it adds up to 7. That is 2 stars. Woohoo! And let's see here. The 3, can't really play it over here. I can go ahead, I could drop the 3 over here. Let's see. I'm gonna take a, I've been rolling terrible. I'm gonna take a risk and put the 3 over here in Fort Brumley. I'm gonna put it on top of the 5. It lets me earn a 5th star. I have to get a 2 or a 1. I'm not terribly worried because I do have 1 coin and I could buy a 1 here on the next turn or 2. Even on the very last turn, I could buy a 1 and stack it on top of either one of those. So I need to make sure I write that dice roll down. 2 and a 3. Okay, here we go. We are going to play. All right, this is the 8th roll. So 2 more rolls left in this round. So don't hold on to your resources too long. Okay, a 5 and a 1. Oh, oh, that's a tough call. But I don't think I can pass up this whole star here. Over here in the Love Dining Hall, I can fill up both columns at once. That's a 1 and a 5, gets me a star and a heart. And I'm going to spend 3 of my hearts. So one of the things here says pay 3 hearts to reuse a die. I'm going to spend 3 hearts, all 3 at once. I want to reuse the 5. And I have to do it in a different realm, but I'm going to reuse it over here in Brumley. I'm going to drop it right on top of that one. It earns a coin. I'm guaranteed to fill this one up on the next turn because I can always buy that dice if I need it. So that's why I did that. So 1 and a 5. So that was very helpful to have those hearts. All right, so here we go. We are on the last roll of round 2. One and a 4. I'll write that down so I don't lose track of that. A 1 and a 4. Oh, this is perfect. I'm going to spend the 1 and the 4 over here at the same time in the Love Dining Hall. I earn a coin and a star. And I'm going to buy a dice. I only need to buy a 1. I'm going to spend 1 of my coins. I don't want to spend more than that because those fractional values will help me. And I'm going to put the 1 over here in Brumley and get the 6th star. I did moderately better that round. I've never had the dice. I've never gotten more than like 2 over here in Love Dining Hall before. So that's worked out well. So now we're going to add up our tally. So 4, 6, I got 12 stars showing. And so, all right, I'm like 12. And then resources that I've earned but not used. I've got 4 pumpkin, 2 coins. So 12.6. All right, 12.6 is my score. I'm going to pause here. Let everybody catch up. Love to see these scores show up in the chat. Let's see how everybody did. I know there's a bit of a lag. We're just now seeing the scores add up. Oh, I did. I did totally earn. Edgar was asking, did I earn a heart and a star from that last roll in Brumley? I did, and I forgot to mark it down. That is a good call. So that is a heart and a coin, and that changes it to 12.8. Very good. Sometimes when I'm talking aloud, running the game, I miss some things like that because I'm not able to totally focus on just that. So good call out. All right. 11.8, great score. See some other scores coming in. Okay, well, I'm going to start explaining how the next three realms work. And I like these at the bottom because they've got a little more complexity to them. Now, one thing I'll let you know is that today on this call, we're playing the three realms this way. If you take this game back to your troop and you play it, you can play any three realms at a time. So you could go up and down, you could go pick them randomly. You get to choose the realms that you're playing for each round. I've just chosen, for ease of explanation on the video, choosing to go straight across. But you could totally play the realms in different orders and in different combinations. Because as you start to get the hang of how the mechanisms works, you could see how, some of the realms would play better with each other than others. All right, some other great scores coming in. It's like Zane posted a 14.1 again. That's just fantastic. All right, here we go. So the first realm is sailing. Now this one's a little more sophisticated. Let's say we rolled this 4 and the 1. So what you would do is you would mark off that you got the 4, record that you earned the heart, and then you would write the number 1 on the crate below. You don't get the heart yet, just write the number 1. And then let's say on another turn, and then you can use that 1 in the other realms. You're just writing what that value was. And then let's say in another one, you get a 2 and a 1. You could write the 2, mark off the 2, earn the pumpkin, and then write the 1 here. If you can get enough of these crates that have the same value from the unused dice, then what you're doing is you're stacking it up. And then eventually, before time runs out, when you roll another 1, you use that dice and you mark off every single crate that has the number that you've written on the bottom. So you might earn 2 or 3 or 4 stars off of 1 dice roll later in the game by constantly using a dice here. Now, a pro tip that someone shared after the last game is they were spending their coins down here to keep buying ones for unused die, which stacked up a lot, or they put the ones down there and then they bought a 1 later in the game to mark off multiple stars. So pretty clever strategy. I hadn't thought of that myself. So little bonus pro tip there. Kayaking, you earn a lot of resources in kayaking. The hearts and the pumpkins, whatever you roll. So if I rolled a 1 and a 2, I can either mark off the 1 or the 2 here, earn a pumpkin. And then at the end of the game, you count the total number of pumpkins earned from any of these realms. And if you've earned 3 or more pumpkins, you get 1 star. If you'd earned 6 or more pumpkins, you get 2 stars. 9 or more pumpkins, and you get 3 stars. And then you do the same for the hearts. So you don't mark off any stars till we start counting scores at the end. But if you earn enough pumpkins throughout the course of all 3 realms, then a chance to really earn some cool stars. All right, now let's look at canoeing. So canoeing, we try and actually build these grapes here to make slushies. I know it doesn't really fit with canoeing, but I was running out of names of program areas, so you just got to work with me. So what you do on the first roll that you would do, so say a 4 and a 5, you can use 1 dice to build a grape. So like if I were to build a grape for here, I would circle the number 5. Then on a subsequent turn, that 5 comes along and I get another 5. I can take 1 dice plus 1 of the grapes that I've built, mark it off, and fill a slushie. When you fill a slushie with the exact number using a dice and 1 or more grapes, then you earn 2 stars. So early on in the game, try and build some grapes up so you have them to use with you later in the game. All right, so hopefully that made sense. And we're going to start round 3 here. Okay, here we go. First roll in round 3. 6 and a 3. So I'm going to start off right here on sailing, mark off the 6, write the 3 on the crate. So I earn a coin, and then later, if I roll a 3, I can choose to take it, or I can try and get more 3s here. So I'm going to mark that I earned a coin down here in round 3 now. And I'm going to use the 3 to fill up to make this grape over here. And now I've used that, and now I've earned a heart. So not so bad. 2 resources off of 1 roll, and I've set myself up already in canoeing with a grape of 3, and a crate over here is 3 as well. Oh, and I did not write down what the dice roll. I always forget that step. 6 and 3. Here we go. We're going to roll this 6 and 2. All right, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and build the big grape over here in canoeing that earns a coin for myself. And the 2, I'm going to mark off a pumpkin and get a pumpkin on the board here. So didn't score any stars that time, but I'm trying to set myself up to be able to start hopefully getting some more in later rounds. Hopefully this strategy will pay off. If not, I'll go down in flames and Zane will beat me badly with his score. So here we go. 6 and a 2 again. Man, where were these rolls last game? 6 and a 2. All right, so I'm not going to let that 6 go to waste. I'm going to take that 6, 1 grape, plus my die, mark that off, fill up the 12 slushy, and take 2 stars. I might not see another 6 the rest of the game, and they might be littered all over the place. But that, I can't let that go to waste. And I'm going to put the 2 over here and mark a heart. I'd already used the 2 on the pumpkin, so that one's spent. So, but now I've earned a heart. All right. So there we go. I've recorded my dice roll. And time for roll number 4. 1 and a 6. Wow. Well, I guess I'm going to do this. I'm going to roll the 1. See, that's tough. Yeah, I'm going to put the 1 over here. Get a pumpkin in canoeing. And then I'm going to spend the 6 over here on the other pumpkin. There. So now I've earned at least 3 pumpkins. So I know that I'm going to get at least 1 star out of kayaking. So I might double down and just try and fill out more pumpkins instead of splitting my dice across these. At this point, the way I'm rolling, that might be my best shot for getting anything in there. And I did not write down what that dice roll was. 6 and a 1. All right, yeah, I think that's all I can do on that one. Time to roll again. Here we go. 5 and a 2. Something other than a 6. So, I've already spent the 2 over here, so I can't use it there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this 5 in kayaking on the pumpkin side and mark off a pumpkin. And then I'm going to take the 2 and fill it up on canoeing to fill that grape and earn a 5th pumpkin. 1 more pumpkin that I've earned, and that'll give me 2 stars in kayaking at the end. So, and I got a pretty good shot with dice that I can roll. There's 5 more pumpkins on the board that I can earn. 3 here and 2 here. So hopefully that strategy will work out. Hopefully. All right, here we go. Roll number 6 in round 3. 1 and a 5. The ones are very popular today. All right, so I'm going to do my best here. I'm going to take this pumpkin in the 1 column, puts me into a 6, and I'm going to build with a 5 there for canoeing. So I've only used the number 6 grape, so I'm in good shape here to try and put some stars down here. I might come up with nothing down here. Now that 5 does let me earn a coin. I need to make sure I write that coin down. All right. Did I write down the 1 and the 5? Yep. Okay. Here we go. 3 rolls left in this game and this round. 6 and a 4. This is just crazy. 6 and a 4. All right. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the 4 over here on kayaking and mark off a pumpkin. And I'm going to take the 6, combine it with the 5, and fill up number 11 slushy and mark that off. Let's see, anything else I can do clever wise here? I don't think so. I really need to get 2 more pumpkins. That would be ideal. I don't see it happening though. 4 and a 3. Okay, so maybe. Yep, okay, here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to take the 4 that I earned over the 4 and use all 3 of these at once. So that gives me a total of 6 there, plus my 4, makes 10 for canoeing. I get those other 2 stars. 4 and a 3. And then I can take the 3. Oh, the 3, I'm going to go ahead and take that star there. I might not get another star in sailing if I don't. I'm going to spend that 3 there. Yeah, sadly, I think that was my best shot. Now what I've done is I'm guaranteed I'm not getting anything else in sailing because you need at least 2 turns in sailing to maximize that. So my best hope now is just to try and get a 3 that'll push me into having enough. Well, let's think about this. Sorry, I'm being so indecisive. I'm gonna spend one of my coins. I'm gonna buy. Oh no, I can't do that. I can't do that. Ignore that. Move along. All right, here we go. This is why all the kids in our troop, all the scouts in our troop routinely beat me because they're much better at the strategy than I am. Here we go. 1 and a 2. Fantastically terrible roll. So, oh, hang on. Let's try this. I'm going to do a 2 here. I'm going to write the 1. I'm going to use the 1 over here for the heart. Gives me a heart. And then I'm going to spend that 1 coin to buy a 1. Mark that off. Get a second star. Whew. Not my best one. So now we can see. Now I'm going to try and add up the score for kayaking before going any further. So, and count up all the pumpkins I earned through this. Did I take the pumpkin that I just earned there? I did not. Gives me 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So 8. So I don't get 3 stars, but I did manage to get enough to get 2 stars for the pumpkins. Then if I add up all the hearts that I earned, 1, 2, 3, I do qualify for 1 star for the hearts. And I just left that one blank so that you can see I scored 2 for the pumpkin and 1 for the number of hearts. So now I'll add up my final score. 6 in canoeing, 3, 2, gives me a whopping 11. And then I will add up the ones here. So I've got 8. It gives me 11, 12, 13. So 9 point, no, I can't add. Wow, that's terrible. 11, 12.3. Ooh, my penmanship is terrible. Now I got to get a calculator to add up my 3 scores because, again, math is hard for this hour of the day. All right. 34.8. Much better than I did the other night in our troop meeting. I didn't break 30 at the troop meeting. So let's see how those final scores, see how everybody did. So again, I hope everybody enjoyed this game. We're almost to the end of our hour. We'll stay on and answer any questions you have for the next few minutes. We'll be back online at 3 p.m. to play again. So you'll need to print off another score sheet. Hopefully you'll come back and play again with us and it'll make a little more sense the second go round. I'm still going to play the same 3 realms at a time because we might have some new players. But feel free to look at the link at the start of this video up there in the description to the score sheet and the getting started video, and take this back to your own troop. And again, I'd like to thank Stonemaier Games again for their generosity in first creating this really cool game and then allowing us to modify it and tweak it so that it's a little more fun for our scouts with names of things that they've seen or been to. So hopefully everybody enjoyed this. Really appreciate you joining in. Starting to see some final scores come in. That's great. And if we can drop a recording of this video, either on Facebook or YouTube, we will. I'm not quite sure yet how the Facebook video if it'll let us take the video down and repost it, because as long as you have the dice roll, you can go and replay this. You can play this with your friends as a patrol game, over Zoom calls, your entire troop unit, whatever you like. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and thanks very much for the other folks in Troop 2319 that have helped me in the chat answer questions. Really appreciate it. And hope everyone enjoys the rest of the Backyard Campout with the Atlanta Area Council. All right, so Edgar is asking if I can explain the scoring again in the sailing block. So sure. So I'm going to pull the dice out of the thing here. So let's say you roll a 5 and a 4. You decide you're going to use the 5 to mark off the number there. You would earn the coin right away. And then the unused dice, you would write the value in the crate. So down there, I've written a 4. And let's say later on in the round, you roll a 2 and a 4. Then you would mark off the 2, write a 4 in the crate. So you'd have 2 crates that had a handwritten 4. Then later in the round, if you roll like a 6 and a 4 and you decide that you're ready to use the 4, you would use the 4 to mark off both of the crates and then earn both of the stars underneath there at one time. So it's a risk and reward situation where you can try and write multiple, as many as you can with the same number. You might end up, it's up to you. You could put a different number on each one, but then you minimize the impact going forward. So it's a little trickier that you take the unused dice, and then the unused dice that you wrote down here, you can use that value in one of the other realms. All right, hopefully that was helpful. No, writing the number on the crate does not use the die. What it does is you're just writing it down, and then you can use that die in another realm. All right, and there's a request to explain mountaineering again. So the way mountaineering works, this one is you can use, if you roll like a 4 and a 6, you can pick which dice to use. If you happen to roll doubles, you can use 1 in each area. but we'll start with like a 2 and a 1. So a 2 and a 1, I'm only going to use one dice. You mark off the square of the dice that you've used in the coin area. And then you add up for each time, each turn, or each time you've used the dice in here, you add up the value. So the first time, if I only mark a 2 the first time, the total value of dice in here is 2. And the chart tells me that a score between 1 and 3 earns the resource, the coin for this area, pumpkin on this side. So on another, if I already have a 2 in there, and then I roll a 3 on another turn, and then I have a 2 and a 3 marked off, then the total value in the coin area is a 5. 4 to 8 gets me a star. So it builds. So that's why right out of the gate, if you mark a 6, sure, you'll get a star the very first time, but the probability of getting more than 1 or 2 stars in that area has decreased. So if you start building up early, start with a 4, and then if you can get the 4 and then the 1 and the 2, it's perfect. Then you'll get 3 stars from that side, and then you have a chance to earn 3 stars from this side as well. Hopefully that makes sense. I also explained these in the video that's up in the link that's on the webpage on our site that has the description as well. Wow, 46.5 from Zane Nair. Anybody else beat a 46.5? But to be totally honest, this is not Zane's first time playing. He's played 2 or 3 times with our troops, so he's becoming quite the pro. Any other questions about realms that were confusing? All right, well, I think that's it. I don't see any more comments. I'm going to stop the video. Thank you again for everybody that showed up. We really appreciate it.